Hello, in this video I would like to talk about how to 3D print spheres. In one of my previous projects and my next videos I will work with objects which main part of the body is a sphere, so I need some experiments and I would like to share them with you. The first question, can you print a sphere directly without any support? Well, no, for two reasons. One is that if you put a sphere on the bed, you will have theoretically one point. You will have a very small area of the contact. And another reason is that when you start printing, after first layer actually you will have almost 90-degree overhang, which is very hard or impossible to print with most of the 3D printers. Well, what about the small spheres? The small spheres, when you start, first layer is usually a little bit bigger, for example 0.2 millimeters. And with the small spheres, after first layer basically you can be in some safe overhang angle, as I did here with this D4 die. But the second problem is still there. The surface, touching surface, is very small and basically it moved, and that's why I failed with this print. I solved this problem by cutting a sphere on every side, and basically this was printed without problem. If design allows, then you can use this solution too. How does a sphere look like if I use a support? With these two spheres I use a support and it's very hard to clear. With this one I use a support and a raft, and I use here support with no raft. I will try to clear these two spheres and I will show you how they look like. So this is with raft, this is without raft, using a support. Version with raft and without raft. After 5 minutes of sandpaper working. Very good solution, I use it very often, is to split into two pieces, two hemispheres, which you will somehow put together. Well, how can you put those hemispheres together? One solution is to glue them. But if you use a glue between them, you will raise with 0.1 or 2 millimeters the distance between them. I don't like that solution. Somebody advised that you can count that in the design, and also they design some ring around it, which you can screw together with a screwdriver after gluing, and when the glue fixes, you can remove that ring around the sphere. Much better solution is to use a set screw, which I will insert here. So this may be one of the solutions. Let's put this together. It is very easy to put it together. Put a set screw in one hemisphere and then you can screw the other half. Basically, you don't have to buy a set screw. You know what? Let's 3D print one. Well, here it is. Let's use the printed versions. This is place for the screwdriver. But I don't need it, it's going in very easily. And we have a very perfect sphere. That solution can be used when the position of two hemispheres is not important. But for example, if you are printing a globe, it would be very funny if Africa would be below North America, right? Because you cannot set the position of the hemispheres to each other. If position of the hemisphere is important, you want to align it somehow, so you need some pin drivers to align the hemispheres. Well, my first idea, but probably I will not use this version, is to use holes for filaments. You have to experiment for your printer what is the design to create a hole perfectly tight for your filament. I was using 2.0 millimeters. If it's not good, you can always drill it. Okay, let's put this together. So I will need a filament. I like to use a flex filament, which is more elastic. Cut it at the angle. And if you want to use a glue, depends how thick or thin is your hole, you can put a little glue into hole, but be careful that glue goes only into the hole. And then you can insert a filament. It should be fixed in. Be careful not to go with the glue with the cotton surface of the sphere. Just another trick which you can use if the hole is too big. One more thing I would like to talk about printing spheres is the variable layer height. If you want a fast printing, for example, you will use 0.2 mm layer height. But when the surface is almost horizontal, that will result very big steps, and it's very noticeable on top of the spheres. For example, here I used on one side the variable layer height, on the other side I used the 0.2 mm. And using a variable layer height, theoretically you can use 0.1 or 0.05 mm layer height continuously, but then your printing time will be 4 or 5 times longer. But using variable layer height only on the place at the end of the surface, or everywhere where you have horizontal, near horizontal surface, that will produce a little bit longer time. But if you have some better idea what to use as a pin driver or maybe you have some better solution how to put these two hemispheres together, feel free to write me in a comment. I'm open for every suggestions. Okay, I hope this was useful to you too. And in my next two videos I'm designing a tripod ball head. Very important part is the sphere, and also the spherical D6. It's a sphere with the a steel ball inside, but here the very important part, basically outside, it's a hemisphere. I also print this in two pieces. I hope you will follow me to that video too. Thanks for watching. Bye.